This is the KoperCrabb Podcast. Nice.
I'm Chaney Crabb.
I am Navene Koperweis, coming at you live.
Shout out to our sponsors, Direct Sound Headphones, Moon Juice CBD by Jade Rabbit. If you guys have any questions to submit to the podcast, hit us up at KoperCrabbPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. We are the #1 podcast for underground music. Voted by my mom and Chaney's mom.
It was, there were no votes against us.
Yeah. Just, what's that called? When you're the only one and you take the...
It's a sweep.
I think there's a name for it.
Yeah, it's not.
Like there's nobody else running and...
This is something we do all the time, and I just noticed it. We dance. We spend minutes trying to figure out a word for something
that's stupid. Well, let's just look it up real quick. Let's see if we can figure it out. Hold on, I have a window now. There you go. Boom. Now you guys can see that I'm Googling. Okay.
Good
winning
googly moogly.
When you're the only contestant.
Ah, yes, that's not a sweep. I thought you were talking about if you take all the votes.
Press your luck. Oh, God, I don't know. Maybe default wins by default. I think that's the term I'm looking for. Not that cool. Total waste of the podcast.
That was anticlimactic.
Anyway, we've been having a lot of guests lately. I don't think we've had just you and me for a while, right?
Yeah, we haven't had just us since, I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks, but
yeah. I should probably know.
In all honesty, those Malika and Blake episodes we did in the same day. So it feels to us like we've...
What? Spilling the beans?
Yeah, sorry. I just let you guys behind the curtain. a little glimpse.
That actually reminds me, I kind of wanted to address a little something that was...
What did you want
So we did, when we do the podcast, I got to wet my whistle a little bit, right? I got to have a couple beers. Otherwise, I don't really feel like talking.
So you're an alcoholic?
No, it's a part of the job, is what I like to say, right? Yeah. Hey, if you're an athlete, you're going to drink Gatorade or something like that to help you...
If you're a pod
the electrolytes. If you're on a podcast, I got to drink a couple beers. Otherwise, I'm kind of a little more reserved, and that's not very fun. So, that being said, I didn't eat very much that day. This was 2 weeks ago?
Are you about to talk about how you were drunk on the Blake's podcast?
Yeah, I'm going to spill it, dude. Spilling the beans. Yeah. So, we did Malika's episode, and then we did Blake's right after. Blake doesn't. I don't think Blake knows this, but I'm not sure he's going to listen to this episode.
Probably not.
Although I did say, anyway, let me get to it. It's not that cool, but I didn't eat very much that day, and then didn't drink what I would consider to be very much. You know what I'm saying? So,
something in the area of 15 beers.
No,
right?
Dude, I literally had 3 beers. A couple of them though were these tall boys.
Yeah.
And they're craft beers, and I didn't eat that much. And then I drank a little bit, I think 1 little shot of this Basil Hayden's.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know.
We both were a little tipsy at the end of the Blake episode.
So what I'm saying is,
it's fine.
During the Malika episode, I'm getting kind of loose. I'm loosening up, starting to talk and whatnot. That was fun. Then we get Blake on there, and I'm like, oh, it's my old buddy, and I'm just kind of sitting here getting. And by the end of the episode, man, I turned around, and I am totally sloshed. Freaking wasted. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. So, that's just me being real. After the episode, I was I noticed whoa, wait a minute, something's not right. I'm really drunk. This is weird. Yeah. And it sucked.
Yeah, I got pretty drunk at the end of that episode too, but all is fair, whatever. We're hanging out with our friends. But at the end of the day, it's that was such a fun day. It was a fun day. I had so much fun.
Whoops, wrong sample.
Hanging out with both of them and having guests. And honestly, toward when we quit the podcast the first time, well, we haven't quit it again, but when we took a hiatus earlier last year,
that was a stupid thing to do.
Something that at the end of it, I left it thinking that I didn't enjoy talking to people over Zoom.
Oh.
And this time around, like I've been proven wrong. And I think it's because we were cramming, like there was a point where we started doing 2 episodes a week and we were cramming the most amount of talking on Zoom and it just wasn't always as comfortable of an experience, I think. So, but this time around, like having guests and chatting with people who are friends of ours has been a really, really fun experience. And it's also been fun because we've designated like 1 day a week that we do podcasts.
I think that's been crucial. So, just kind of changing it to like, okay, we do it on this day, period. That's it. Not like, oh, fuck, it's Tuesday. We got to do a podcast.
Right. Because we weren't really on a schedule before.
Yeah. So that's helpful.
But now I think that that's something that we're both learning, like as time moves on with our band and with our podcast and every new venture that we do that's like professional, if you will. It's we're learning to put ourselves on schedules. And I remember Travis Livrier telling us back in the day that Mark Michelle, who he was in Scale the Summit with, Mark started this bass.
Oh shit! Hold on, I just spilled. Go ahead, keep going.
But anyway, Mark started this like bass site. I think he was giving lessons and something like that. But the one thing that he said is that Mark was always on a schedule, and it helped him succeed. So that's been something that it took me multiple years to figure out.
Right,
I mean,
aside
from like the having woken up at 5:30 every day last year when we were like gymming out hard and being on that kind of schedule, like just getting yourself on a professional schedule, because I personally am a professional procrastinator. Totally. So if I'm not on a schedule, I will put everything out until I will wait until the last minute to do anything. Yeah. So a schedule has been just totally crucial in like doing things in a timely manner, getting them done. And, you know, just the more work that you get, the more you kind of have to put yourself on some kind of regimen, because it's just easier to do everything. And there's never this anxiety that I used to feel at the end of working on something, or when something was close to needing to be turned in.
Yeah, you're just like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah. Instead, it's like and being on like an incremental schedule where you do a little here, a little there, and you're like, but I'm designating it so that I do this much per week or this much per day.
Well, it's weird that you'll like think to do that for other aspects of your life, right? So you're like, you know, maybe let's say you want to get in shape, right? So we were like, all right, let's do MyFitnessPal, and we're tracking everything and keeping tallies, but that's being on a routine.
Yeah.
Right? And it works. And you're like,
totally works.
I'm going to do this routine. I know it's going to work. It's going to get me over there. Right. Yeah. And then it's just weird to me how I don't connect the dots with that in other aspects of my life. Right.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, if I wanted to like, you know, get some more Instagram followers or whatever, it's like a thing you could do is, okay, well, I'm going to post X amount of videos per week. I'm going to make sure they're really good. The best thing that I can possibly do. Right. And that's the best way to get those things that you want.
Yeah.
You know? And I've been fucking running around like a madman lately. This last couple weeks.
In a good way.
Not sure what happened. I got like a little fire lit up under my ass.
Yeah, well, we start recording this week, and that the new Entheos album, and I think that helped like
totally
kick both of us into gear.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that was good about like, sorry, I know that we sorry to cut you off, but we do a lot of recording at home, but for drums, we actually booked time at a legit studio.
Well, that's what we always do. For every album that we've done, the two now 3 albums and the EP, we tracked drums with Zach Oren, Castle Ultimate. We had him on the podcast, like, I don't know, episode
something
10 ago or something. But
people always know that, like on, I don't know, if, like on other people's podcasts, I'll notice they'll be like, yeah, I had him on the podcast. It was like episode 243. And you're like,
I don't know how
did you write that down beforehand?
Yeah.
Or I'll look up when he was on there. Just
what?
Go ahead. Keep talking.
But Yeah, so like every album we've gone to Zach Oren to record, and so this album that's what we're doing this album as well, and then we track ourselves doing everything else.
Yeah, but one of the reasons, so I mean, we probably could get away with doing everything at home, right?
Yeah.
But I think, for one, it's good to have other people work on it, and for two, it's obviously a really sick studio. But another great thing about it is we have the time booked, and we can't fucking put it off.
Yeah, it's designated work time.
Whereas we probably would put it off.
We definitely would. We're both procrastinators.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, maybe next week we'll get around to it. But
I mean, we watched ourselves do it with a song that we decided to not put out. Yeah, because the song ended up being like a good learning process for a lot of other things that we were looking for. But
well, we did work on that song quite a bit. We just decided not to release it.
It just didn't feel right at the end of the day. And honestly, like, we have a lot of songs that are kind of in the bank. I don't know if we'll ever use them, or if you could consider them B-sides, I guess. Maybe someday we'll put out a B-side album, but there's just a lot of stuff that, you know, you finish working on it for the sake of finishing a song, or at least instrumentally.
Yeah.
And then something doesn't feel right about it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's just how we felt about the song. But it ended up helping us make a lot of other decisions.
Yeah, like we had a mystery bass player on there, and we decided, like, okay, he did a really great job, so that was a good thing in there. And we also know now that we can't, because we did track the drums for this unreleased song at the house, so we kind of knew, okay, we can get away with doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we did that for Remember Your Dust.
Yeah, this song sounded a lot better than Remember Your Dust, like sonically.
Well, that's because Zach mixed it, not me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have this time booked at Zach's.
Yeah.
And we're going in there tomorrow. We're going to hit it up. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But this week's been crazy because on Tuesday evening, I was listening to the second half of the album, and I was kind of like, this isn't cutting it.
Yeah.
Not cutting it. Literally the second half.
Yeah, I mean, there were some parts that that did cut it, but there were a lot of parts that just felt like they needed rewritten. I don't know. There is, because you're the type of writer that you write a lot of different type of things, and I think that at the end of the day, it's like we hear our music, or at least we've been doing this for this album, which is unique in the way that you are now like writing all of the guitars and the drums for it. So we've been going over this album and just like assessing, okay, what is our band?
Yeah.
What stuff actually fits in?
Yeah.
And honestly, you know, we haven't really done a lot of that in the past.
It's kind of like, oh, okay, this is what's coming out. We'll just do that. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually what we've been doing.
There hasn't been like a combing over of songs. Yeah. And I think that this time we did that like
a lot.
To a really good degree. A degree that I've always personally wanted to work on things too.
Like one of those cat combs. You know, they're real fine.
Yeah, like to get the fleas.
Yeah. So we got in there. Anyway, right, I'm like listening to that second half, and I'm just like, you know, it's not there. What's going on here? It's not bad enough.
Yeah.
So I literally locked myself in the studio. For the studio is a bedroom in our house, and
a lot of studios are that.
We're talking, I don't know, 10, 12 hours a day just in there, and I've freaking like rewrote the whole second half in the last 3 days. But now it's super badass. I like it more in the first half.
I think I do too. There was a part. I had you rewrite a part on the first half that was the only part of the entire record that didn't sit 100% perfectly with me.
Yeah.
Like this is really the first time, at least right now we're in the demo process. It's the night before we start recording drums, and between the demoing process and a final album, things change a lot. But this is the first time that for our band, I've gone into recording 100% happy with the demos.
Yeah.
100% like every single part of this demo fucking rules, and I wouldn't change anything about it. So I'm really excited to see, because I'm sure like once we get in the studio this week, especially with drums, that there might be some parts that we like decide to flip a tiny bit.
Yeah, or extend.
Or to me, going from program drums, which is how we do our demos, to real drums is a huge transition. So I'm just excited to see how things I'm sure will change a little over the next week or, over the entire recording process. But I'm excited to see how the songs flesh out because I already love them. Yeah. So I can only imagine that they're going to be really sick.
Pumped on it.
Yeah.
It's got some of the fastest stuff that we've ever done. I'll say that. And
that's true.
And another like little B-side. Wow. Actually, I'm gonna say we wrote. We've talked about on the show how we're gonna start like an industrial kind of side project.
Yeah.
And that's actually the theme song.
Yeah.
Well, a song I wrote for that project.
Yeah.
Made it on the album Entheos, dude. Okay. So get ready for like a industrial grunge track, dude.
Yeah.
But we're super excited. Can't wait to go up there tomorrow with Zach, and
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be super fun. Mm-hmm. And another thing I was gonna say though, because I was talking about beer and getting drunk. Back to that, I had this beer. I think it was like a month ago or something, and I've been just thinking about it ever since. Haven't had it since then. It's called Time Machine. It's peanut butter and jelly porter. And
can I taste it?
Yeah, you should taste it. Because I don't even typically like beers like this.
I don't either at all.
But I've been talking about it.
We all know I love my hazies. Those haze.
Let's see if you like it. What do you think of it?
Wow, it tastes like cherry coffee.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's honestly, it's not even the stout that I don't like. It's a little too sour for me.
It's just weirdest.
It's not bad. It literally tastes like a cherry coffee stout.
It's the weirdest beer that I've ever had. And then I asked the girl today because we went to buy some from this place, New Bohemia.
Yeah, New Bo.
Here in New Bo, aka.
It's in Pleasure Point. If any of you live in Santa Cruz, New Bo.
Here in Santa Cruz, and she was saying, "Well, I don't know. That might be it. It might be the last case." So I bought 4 of them.
I know you probably should have just bought that last one.
I was like, maybe I should fuck around and buy the whole case.
I don't know why, but one of my like things that I really like, I guess it's Chaney's Finer Things Club, is seeing a bunch of like craft beers in my fridge.
I love that.
Opening the fridge and it's just like packed with craft beers.
There's like these certain things that are like to me that's rich, like rich people stuff.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them. The actual rich people stuff though is if you have a fridge in the garage that's just fucking
stacked full of beverages
of beer.
I don't think that's as popular in California to have
full of beer from each brewery. It's like a tour day Santa Cruz.
Does anybody do that?
Someday I'm going to do that, and I'm gonna have my personal butler Navene go out and get a beer from everywhere. Get a little beer from every brewery.
That's gonna be a real small fridge because it's gonna be in the van, dude. Okay,
I don't
retirement
think so.
Status.
No,
dude, that's what's
when
up.
I'm 80. When I'm 80, my bones will be all brittle. I'm not gonna be able to live in a van then.
What's that kind of? It's gonna be comfortable. It's gonna be real comfortable.
Yeah, but it's the getting up the steps and down the steps.
All right,
that's the hard part.
Figure it out.
You're gonna have to get me a handicap accessible.
No, I think you're gonna be nimble.
When I'm 80?
I think so. Why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep working out into my 80s. Keep working. Keep the mind.
Or start working out maybe.
I have a plan. Well, this year has been 2020, so 2020 is over now.
Yeah, right.
In 2020, I did not work out as much as I did in 2019.
No.
Did you?
Hell no.
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
in 2019, we were savages. We were just total savages.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I've sort of just directed, like over the last few weeks. I've probably already said this on the episode on the podcast. I'll say it again. Whatever. I don't know what got into me a couple weeks ago. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago or something. I've been on fire, man.
Yeah.
I've been like, in such a great mindset. Like, I just don't even think about any of the stuff.
Is the camera on you only?
Yeah, it's on me.
I know. I can tell because when you go into your like rants, I always know that you've put the camera on you because you're
here
like,
we go. We're going into it.
For a rant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put it on you.
No,
then.
don't.
Oh, busted.
Is it on me?
Yeah.
What an asshole.
She was doing her makeup. Everybody. What was I saying? I was gonna say something motivational.
I don't know.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I had this epiphany, dude. It was like, don't even think about stuff that you don't like or you don't feel like doing, you know, like with regard to work, right? Because I have a side job, if you will. And sometimes it bums me out, you know, because I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to do this. I want to just do music all the time.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about, like, even when I'm there, I'll just think about music the whole day, right? So I'm there, but I'm not even there.
That's what I do when I'm at work.
Yeah.
I actually usually think about art.
Yeah.
And music, but I'm lucky in the way that I can work on art when I'm at work.
There you go. I can't do anything. I'm, like, my job, I install shades and blinds and shit like that. So I'm on, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I'm there, though, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not even there. I'm just thinking about music. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next. I'm thinking about, like, you know, projects I'm working on. Your next move. Yeah, totally. And then, I don't know. It's because I think usually around this time of year, like December, January, I get kind of bummed. It's like the time of year where I get...
it's called sad.
Yeah, I think I have sad.
Seasonal affective disorder, dude. It's an actual real thing. Even though we live in California, it does... Like, guys, we live in Northern California. It gets cold and rainy up here, and it's not sunny all the time.
No.
And obviously, it's like the sun is setting earlier. People do get... Or what is it? What did I call it? Seasonal affective depression?
Seasonal affective disorder, I think is what it is.
Okay, that's what I think it is too. But anyway, it's like that is real. So I do think, not to go off on a tangent away from you, but I think that in the winter, be taking care of yourself mentally as much as you can, because you're already like not getting as much sunshine. Maybe take some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Keep yourself in good spirits because people get down this time of year.
That's true.
And last year, suicide rates were up an incredible amount. So I hope everyone's like staying safe out there, staying happy, keeping yourself healthy.
All right.
And if you're not, check in.
Check in. All right. How do you stay happy, though? That's the question.
Well, it depends on how you view happiness, I suppose.
Totally. There's a lot of different ways to slice that one up. But... Yeah. Like with regard to staying motivated on, for me, it's making music, the music career, quote unquote. I was just thinking, you know what I'm going to do is like, I'm not even going to screw around with anything that's not music related, right? I'm talking like nothing, like just that's it. I'm just going to do that until I go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing that for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, dude, it's a big deal, man.
Totally.
Like I wrote 18 minutes of an album.
Yeah.
On, let's see, Wednesday. Okay. Monday, I had a big job up in Sonoma, which is like 3 hours away from here. Mm-hmm. So me and my friend Nick, he was on the podcast actually. I don't know which episode.
Yeah. Way back in the day.
Dude, we went up there in the van, Coco Bolo.
Nick Gautier.
We went up in the van, Coco Bolo. We did this whole house full of shades. Slept in the van, right?
That's both of you rock. Together?
Both of us together, dude.
Really? You both slept in the van?
We slept in the van, dude.
Holy
it was sick.
Shit. That's awesome.
But we each had a bed. I mean, there's beds in there.
No,
multiple.
I know. That's awesome.
So, yeah, because he was like, you know, he's metal and punk and everything. He's like, I'm down. Let's go up there.
That's the thing is that if you have been on tour, I'm sure there are people like this who haven't been on tour, but, you know, if you've been on tour, you like are down to sleep with some homies. You don't care.
So he was down.
It's like, let's all crash.
It was fun.
We don't care.
We went to Whole Foods after work and then just like got some food and just chilled up there.
Yeah,
but everything, awesome. You know, is totally shut down because of Corona.
Right.
So we do that. We go up there Monday. We work all day, sleep in the van. We get up, finish up the job. We got done early. So I thought it was going to take us 3 days, but it only took us 2. I'm driving home. I'm listening to the second half of the album. I'm like, this isn't cutting it, dude. I'm going to fucking like redo this. It was just a lot more like slow and kind of I don't know. It just wasn't. I wanted to set it off, like this mood that I'm in is like I'm just aggro, right?
Yeah.
And the music that I was listening to, the first half's real aggro, because I was in a similar vibe when I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, I don't know, a little too chill, a little too like.
I don't know. Wasn't even that it was a little too chill. It was just a little too wandering.
A little too wandering. Yeah, just kind of
and
like.
Not in a good way.
It was pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, it would have been cool, but.
There were parts though that it was like, this just isn't really the vibe of the album that we want to write.
No. So I'm trying to go.
It is stuff that I could see us using like parts of it in the future. We did use like, there is a decent amount that's still in it.
There is, but I will say like, I think it was about 13 minutes the old way.
Yeah.
And then now it's 18 minutes and I used maybe only a few parts and I sped them up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then flew in that industrial song. So that added like a.
You also just changed
3 minutes
chords and.
Fine tooth comb. So, anyway, I get back Wednesday. No, I get back Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm in the studio all day, literally 12 hours. I was in there from 10 to 10. I remember it. And then Thursday, worked on it super hard. Friday, worked on it super hard. Saturday, I was pretty much done that day.
Yeah, but you worked on it quite a bit on Saturday.
Worked on it quite a bit. And then kind of was just in the studio listening to everything a bunch of times. Like, oh, this is awesome. Today, I changed a couple of things. Today's Sunday, but it's going to be Wednesday for y'all's.
Right.
But anyway, today, Sunday, I'm in there working on stuff, going over it. I started jamming drums to it because I haven't really even had a chance to like practice drums to it. I'm supposed to be the drummer, you know?
Yeah. True.
But when I was playing drums to it today, I was like, okay, I think we got something good here. And I was feeling real solid about it. And then, but you know, I'm a musician, so we'll see what happens. It might be tomorrow. I might be like in utter despair.
Yeah, you kind of were earlier today, but I mean, I think it's amazing. I like the whole record is awesome.
I wasn't in despair today. I was a couple days ago. I was like,
no, earlier today you were for like 5 minutes.
Oh,
but yeah, I really like it a lot. The stuff that I've been demoing I think is awesome. I'm excited.
It's an exciting
time. And you know, we're doing things a little differently on this record. There are a few like huge variables like that. Navene is the only one playing guitar, but we're also, you know, having new people work on certain aspects of the record. And yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, there's going to be some sick people involved in it. And it's going to be a good time.
I think so.
I'm super excited to get started tomorrow and make some videos up in the studio and take some sweet pictures and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the end of that was my end of 2020 was just hammering through music. I mean, one of the days was New Year's Eve. I didn't even realize it was New Year's Eve.
Me either.
So it was like, oh, it's New Year's Eve today, huh?
It's like, oh, okay.
We didn't do anything.
Cool.
But I don't know if anybody did anything because it was.
I mean, I'm sure that some people did things. Well, California, though, is way more shut down than everywhere else.
That's true.
Well, not everywhere else, but then a lot of places. But, you know, I think that probably more people stayed home than usual.
Yeah, definitely.
On New Year's Eve. But, yeah, I don't know. It was cool.
In other parts of the country, it's a little less shut down.
Yeah. I mean, well, we have like other people can go to gyms.
Damn.
The gym isn't. And other people have like outdoor dining.
True.
So the things that we had a few weeks ago, but now California is completely shut down again.
Yikes.
Who knows when we're going to reopen, but you know, until then we'll just be head down doing our thing at our houses, at our house.
We'll keep you guys posted on that coronavirus
update. Watch.
Yeah.
California.
We're not going to do that. We're like the worst news people. That's not our thing.
Yeah, we don't watch the news or television really.
No.
Except at night.
Meth documentaries only.
Yeah, I've been really into meth documentaries lately. I don't know why. I like slice of life documentaries. So
Yeah. Well, you've liked those forever.
I just love documentary, like social studies.
And right now it's all about meth.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
the phase I'm going through. Meth and a little bit of heroin.
Oh my God.
Documentary wise, not doing them.
Yeah.
If anything, the documentaries, I think that I made the decision though that I'm going to like show my kids meth documentaries. I'm just going to be really honest with my children about drugs.
Yeah.
If they ask me anything about drugs that I've like things that I've done, I'm just going to like come clean to them. I think that might be like a good way to handle it.
That's pretty much what my parents did, you know. Just give me the
rundown.
Here's what we know, here's what we've experienced.
Yeah.
But I think I was always real terrified of like heroin and like serious
and meth and speed,
life ruining. I don't think I knew what meth was until I was a little older, to be honest. TBH.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been really prevalent teaching schools about it because in the Midwest, in the middle of the country, the meth thing has been really bad for a long time. Like I've taken you to that grocery store that's by my parents' old house, and if you I'm not going to say what store it is, but if you're in there past 11 p.m., it's a 24-hour store, and if you're there past 11 p.m., it's The Walking Dead.
Yeah, not good.
And I just think that, so I knew about meth from an early age, and just nothing about it ever seemed appealing to me, the whole battery acid thing, I think, and the like rat poison aspect of it. Yeah, no.
Oh, I think for me with the heroin thing, it was like I was always into music so much, you know, and that's kind of like you hear about all these musicians that die from doing that and how horrible it is. So
yeah, right.
Kind of just
that seems to be like the thing that
and
people
I
OD.
think I saw Pulp Fiction at a really young age. I think they do heroin in that movie.
Yeah, she does. I mean, I've known people who have OD'd from heroin. It's never seemed fun to me.
Horrible.
Yeah,
it's absolutely horrible.
I guess that to me, it's like, I don't know. I'm just not like someone who's addicted to drugs. That's not something that's hit me. I know it's a disease. It's not something that I inherited in my life. And to me, it's heroin, meth, you're addicted. I always just was under that impression that if you do those two drugs, it's kind of over. So it was never a big turn on for me.
Not even once.
Yeah, no.
Not even once.
Not even once. No. Definitely not.
But I will drink a beer.
Yeah.
It's no one's business.
But anyway, I like those documentaries. And I'm going to be honest with my kids about drugs.
All right.
But I think that honestly, just seeing a meth documentary or just seeing like a before and after is enough to never want to do meth.
Yeah.
For me.
I agree.
Maybe someone out there is listening and they've done meth. You know, it happens. Maybe
also,
you're at a party.
That's not really appealing to me, like staying up for a bunch of days and all that stuff.
Hallucinating. No, just being super paranoid. Like, I'll watch these documentaries.
I'm already super paranoid.
Yeah, I know. I've been paranoid enough smoking weed. Okay?
True that.
I think that I have super high anxiety. Like, I remember when I was a kid. Okay, I think it was like 16. I've just always been known for being kind of paranoid by my friends. Like, they would make fun of me for it.
Wait a minute,
when I was like 16,
is it paranoid or are you like a fraidy cat?
It's not a fraidy cat. I think that I'm just like paranoid of being in trouble. Or I was when I was a kid, because there was this one night I was supposed to be staying at one person's house. I was staying somewhere else and we were drinking. And like I was just terrified that my mom was going to find out and come and
damn.
I don't know. My mom just scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Legitimately scared of her mom to this day.
It's not that I'm scared of her. It's that I just don't want to. I don't want to let her down. I really love my mom, and
That's true. Yeah.
You know. So it's always been something that I just didn't want to.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. It's like, don't wake up my mom, dude. That's the
Dude,
rule.
Do
don't
not
wake
up
her
my
up,
mom.
dude. She goes to bed early and don't wake her up.
Dude,
that's the rule.
Waking up your mom.
To this day, if I'm in there and if we're over there or something, you know, later, I'm like, hey, be quiet when you're in the kitchen.
Dude,
don't be waking up my mom.
I think that's the only thing. That's like your mom's kryptonite. If something or someone wakes her up, then it's like it's game on between her and the thing.
No, I had like very few rules growing up.
Yeah.
The main rule is don't wake up mom when she's asleep.
Well, you know, that's something that your mother and I have in common. Because if you wake me up in the morning, I don't know if there's a time when I'm like more mad or more mean.
I noticed.
Do not wake me up in the morning. It makes me so
The thing is,
mad.
I still wake you up. every day.
Yeah, I know. And you do it on purpose. So every day I'm like, Navene, why would you wake me up? I ask you every day for the last 10 years not to wake me up in the morning. And you just think it's funny. Okay, now I just cracked the fucking code on it. You think it's funny when I get mad.
Maybe it's
you know that I'm like harmless. You think it's funny when I get mad. You always have.
You know what? Maybe it's like, you're into psychology, right? So I'm thinking maybe there's something there. Like,
you don't take.
No, I was always worried about waking up my mom.
Yeah.
So now with you,
but you
I
also
don't have to worry.
Me,
so I'm like, hey, I'll just wake her up.
You also have told me that with your mom, when you couldn't wake her up, you used to think it was funny to like go in and jump on her bed and wake her up.
Well, that's like in the morning.
Yeah, and when you wake me up is in the morning as well.
No, see, my fear is waking up my mom in the middle of the night. That's the fear.
That's your greatest fear.
Yeah, waking her up in the morning is kind of whatever. It's like it's morning, and she gets up way before me.
Yeah.
So I would run in there and jump all over her bed and stuff, but she was already awake, I think.
So you never really had to sneak back in your house though, because you were like pretty certain that your mom wasn't gonna wake up because if you were quiet enough.
Okay, dude, we lived actually not too far from here, like 2 miles up the street. And Sean and I lived, it was a 2-story house.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was really it was 2 stories, but the second story was just like a loft. And dude, it was sick. So Sean and I had this like loft and it had an angled ceiling. I guess it was like an attic that they just turned into like a room.
Yeah.
Before we moved in.
For sure.
And it had a staircase that went down, and then if you went left, it went into the living room, and then to the right, we had our own door. Dude, we had our own fucking door.
That's every kid's dream.
Yeah, so it was on.
The thing is, though, about you and Sean, that's something that your mom and I always laugh about, is that you guys are like, I think that as far as kids go, you and Sean would have been some of the most well-behaved children of all time.
We were honestly,
somehow your mom got lucky, and you two, even though she didn't really discipline you, I'm sure she disciplined you in her own way, but she wasn't like a very strict mom.
No, and the thing is, we were like into hardcore and like vegan and like straight edge music and stuff.
You were like, I remember your mom telling me that there was a point where you guys were like too pure for your parents. Like you were overly pure. You were vegan.
Yeah.
And they were just vegetarian. So they were like, what the fuck what are these kids doing?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's sort of like a reverse rebellion, right? Like we didn't do drugs or drink or anything, or we were vegan. We were like just wanted to go to shows.
Well, the first time you drank though, how old were you?
I mean, I did drink like a couple times when I was like really young, maybe like 12.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I had a couple sips of something here. I remember on like 1999 New Year's, I drank like a couple sips of tequila or something, and maybe I got like a little buzz.
Oh, tipsy, yeah.
But I didn't like get, I didn't really start like, hey, let me see what's up with the drinking until I was like 17 or 18.
I mean, I think
that's like
I had yeah, it's the same for me though. I mean, I had a couple of drinks when I was maybe 16 or 17 and smoked weed like a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I was never like a really bad kid.
No, dude, I
was never like out partying. I didn't go to parties until I was 18. Like I actually, when I was
parties here.
Exactly, and then it was that. but before that, I've always been very introverted. Like I liked to stay home on the weekends and write and watch movies. Like I like to hang out and I like to be social, but I'm not like out at a million different parties. And I have my friend group and I do things with them, but it's never been an every night thing for me.
Totally.
Well, especially when I was a kid.
We got into some good times together.
Yeah, in LA. In LA, we were probably drunk for them.
Yeah. Well, we've been together for 10 years. Those of you who don't know.
We have cheers. I don't know how we did it.
So I was a young...
It is like...
Chaney was actually only 21 when I met her.
Yeah, okay? It's pretty much right now, right around this time. that it's been 10 years. We actually haven't stopped talking to each other. We haven't gone a day without texting each other on the phone, unless maybe you were in Europe.
I think we talked every day.
But we still talked every day then, since November of 2010. Damn. So it's been a really long time.
That's right, dude. Wow. So wait, that's 2010 November. That's longer than 10 years.
Yeah, but we didn't officially start dating until probably February.
That's true. No, yeah, February
of 2011.
February you came out on the Thursday.
The Thursday tour, when Animals as Leaders was on tour with Thursday and Under Oath. You guys were sharing a bus with Thursday.
Remember that fucking band?
Yep. Yeah, I do, because I hear about them periodically. Like, they're playing alternative rock fests.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're sick, dude.
Thursday is sick. I didn't really know about them until that tour, and I was like,
oh, really? You didn't like them back in the day before that? Okay.
No, I wasn't into Thursday. I was into a lot of bands similar to Thursday.
That's
like
surprising to me.
I love Thrice, Brand New, Dredge, all of that shit.
Yeah.
I love Circa Survive.
Dude, I remember seeing Thursday, like the way I found out about them was...
Used. I loved The Used.
There you go. I found out about them like just a music video on like MTV2 or something, like way late at night, you know?
Wow.
And I was like, dang, this band's kind of sick. Mm-hmm. Like some indie rock band or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So it was super weird to go on tour with them, you know? It's worlds colliding, I guess you could say. But you came out when we were first dating, I guess you could call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you came out on the tour to hang out a little bit. I actually have some pictures from that tour.
That was the first time I ever flew on a plane, was to meet you in Seattle.
There you go, dude. There you go. She just said it,
Seattle.
Dude. Yeah, that's like...
That was the first time I ever flew on a plane.
Small town girl, dude.
And you bought my ticket because you were so in love with me.
That's right, dude. I was like, come on out, dude. Come hang out.
You did.
Because I'm from California.
Very unlike you. I know that sounds like a real like tour guy thing to do, but... And to be honest with you, when we started dating, I was like, I wonder if he's done this before.
Yeah.
But
no, not the case.
Now that I know you and I know like everything about you, your entire family, that's very unlike you. Nothing you ever had done, it just wasn't. That's not your thing.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
What can I say? This is turning into like a really sappy episode.
No, I mean, we're gonna get off this topic, but yeah, we've been together for 10 years now. And
why did I say that?
The band.
I said that for some reason.
I can't remember, but the band has now. We're like right now on our 6-year anniversary.
Well, I think what's more crazy is that we were only together for 4 years when we started the band.
I know. How weird is that? That's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I feel like we had been together for like 20 years and then we started the band.
Yeah.
And now we've been in the band for 20 years.
Like literally 4 years. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we started the band. That's just crazy.
That was kind of ballsy of us. However, you know, there were instances where we had been on full tours together, but before that.
That's true.
I did merch for Animals on the first Animals headlining tour. I booked lessons for Tosin and Hav on your last Animals tour that was with... Yeah.
And for those of you who are maybe a new listener, maybe don't know the backstory, real quickly, I was in Animals as Leaders. And Chaney's...
What did you play in the band?
Played drums. I was actually the first bass player.
Yeah.
But
and after
they kicked me out. They decided to not get another bass player.
You were so bad.
Yeah.
No, you were so good that they decided no one can ever top Navene on bass.
Can't do it.
So we're just going to like... not have a bass player from now on because we'll just be disappointed.
Right. That's it. But
and that's the story of the bass players.
When we played in Des Moines, Iowa on our second tour, that was actually in February.
February of 2009.
Yeah.
That's when we first met.
That's when Chaney and I
first met. No, it was
met.
2010. It was at the beginning in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, it was February of 2010.
Yeah.
It was you were on tour with Veil of Maya was headlining, Periphery, Animals. Who was opening, Periphery or Animals?
Periphery was opening
the
tour. Yeah, Periphery, Animals as Leaders, Circle of Contempt, and then Veil of Maya. And
just a side note of this, if you right now are just starting a band and just starting to tour, that show, Name the bands again. Animals as leaders. Periphery.
Name the lineup.
Veil of Maya.
Dead first.
Periphery dead first. Veil of Maya headlining.
Yeah.
Animals in the middle. Circle of Contempt opening. I don't think they're a band anymore.
Babe, you got the order all weird. Listen, it's Periphery first.
Yeah.
Then Animals. Then Circle of Contempt.
No.
Then Veil of Maya.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Circle of Contempt was playing after you guys?
Yeah. That was Animals' second tour. The first tour before that was with BT Bam, which we might have talked about with Blake. I don't know. Can't remember.
Yeah, I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did after I revised the episode. My mind is fucking blown.
Yeah,
I cannot believe that.
Yeah, and I believe it was Periphery's I think they might have done one other tour before that. And then
BT Bam, or you guys had only done the BT Bam tour. Yeah, we did talk about that with Blake because it was the first time that I saw both of you guys play.
Yeah, so then we did that. That's when I met you.
Yeah, and
the rest is history.
I mean, my mind is blown. What I wanted to go into with that, if you're starting out a band right now and you're playing in front of no one, that tour we just talked about was at Vaudeville Muse. I had to sell 50 tickets for the show, and they were hard to get rid of. No offense. They were very hard to get rid of. And there were maybe 50 or 75 people at that show.
Yeah, I mean,
70. I'm gonna say maybe 100, 125.
Dude, Des Moines, Iowa, in fucking February.
Yeah,
dude. There's actually a picture from that show on my Facebook. If you scroll way back.
Yeah, because there's like a picture of ice.
There was icicles coming off the venue, like these huge icicles, and I was like, hey, everybody. I just got Facebook.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of casually posting, stupid stuff, and I was like, everybody at home, this is what it looks like in the rest of the fucking country. Dude.
Even if there's a blizzard right now. I mean, coronavirus aside, even if there were a blizzard right now in Des Moines in the middle of February, that show would draw like 400 people.
Now? Oh, dude.
Now, yeah. It's like people are fucking driving to go see Periphery and Animals play together.
That's like a
and Veil.
huge show.
That's a huge show.
That's like going to fucking, what's it called? The place we played with, Whitechapel.
Valair Ballroom.
Let's go to Valair. Dude.
Yeah.
Like
it's going to the Wells Fargo Arena.
Yeah.
It's drawing 17,000 people.
Those bands are so big, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's the tour that we met on, and my band opened it. I remember I had to hustle to sell those tickets because it was 2 days. The only way I got my band on that show. Okay, Jordan Peterson, he's in Too Pure to Die, guitar player.
Philosopher.
He was
I'll hit books.
What?
Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah, philosopher. Also a hardcore guy. I know you didn't know that about Dr. Jordan Peterson.
The promoter's name is Jordan Peterson.
The promoter,
name.
the person I had to sell tickets, that I dealt with to get my band on shows, Jordan Peterson. I had to beg to be on the Animals as Leaders show because my band was playing a Despised Icon and Winds of Plague tour 2 days before that. And it's like, it's a faux pas if you're in a local band to play the same place like twice, even in a month,
Dude,
even in a couple months' time.
We broke that rule all the time. We were playing the Pound every fucking week, every other week.
Yeah.
Getting on every show.
Yeah. So, to get us on 2 shows. So in order to get on the Animal show, I had to sell out of Despised Icon tickets. So I did. Because I heard Animals like before a lot of people. My cousin was
before it was cool, dude.
Before it was cool, I was listening. It's true. Before it was cool,
actually,
I
think we have a clip of the first bit.
That's the KFO remix. But anyways, that's
old.
how we met. I had to sell a
old.
shitload of tickets and talk my way onto that show. But here we are 10 years later.
I'm glad you did that.
11 years
later. You know
later.
what I mean? I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, did you really?
People wouldn't be able to listen to this
though?
podcast.
Chaney, did you have a choice?
See, that's the thing with free will, man.
Not sure about that one.
We're going back to what we were talking about at the end of the episode with Malika. It's like there are a lot of things you can trace. You can look at your life in retrospect and follow like a rope along the way of pinpoints.
Yeah.
That seem like
you didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice. You can trace things back to each other, and
well, it's like
weird.
if you think about it more broadly, like you don't really have a choice. Like what if you think about like what is a choice?
Well, yeah, that's the whole debate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So and I sort of did. I didn't get it at first because I was like, well, what do you mean there's no free will? If you don't believe in some sort of like God, right? Because that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the no free will Sam Harris kind of vibe is you it's not predestined.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just making these decisions because that's what you're going to do because of your nature.
Right. Because you can draw it back to like the physiological reasons why you'd choose everything in your life, along with it's like a mixture. But it's that you're physiologically predetermined to make certain choices.
I believe that. And
because of that, you'll go a certain way, and it's not like your life has been planned from the future.
Yeah.
From ahead of time as much as it's been planned from the past.
Yeah.
So not planned from death, looking back in retrospect,
right.
planning from birth.
Yeah. It's like whatever
because of who you are.
Yeah.
And who you are, well, how are we looking at that? We're looking at that based on your genes, your genealogy.
Yeah. It's just strictly a material way of looking at it,
Yeah.
which I actually believe in, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah,
Believe it or not.
I think it's an interesting debate. I'm not going to like fall on either side of the fence because I think that things like free will, it's like with any philosophical debate, never really a winner.
Yeah, I mean, how
never
could there
really
be?
a winner.
There's no like person who knows the actual answer for sure.
Right, and that can be like the frustrating thing and the driving thing in arguing philosophy.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I get super burnt out on it, because in arguing philosophy, it's like you can argue, it's like the snake eating its tail over and over again. You can just argue in a circle,
Right.
and it never ends.
Circular.
But that's why it's so fun if you're into debate, to debate philosophical things, because you can go on forever. And it tends to be who wins is the person with the stronger debate as opposed to what's actually right.
Right.
But it's also why it's fucking enraging to get in one of those arguments for me, because I think that it's more satisfying for me personally to like be in the type of debate that it's like almost like a math equation. Like we're going to figure out an answer at the end of this, like a riddle.
Yeah. Right. Whereas it's like the free will thing, there's not going to be one at the end.
Right. Which is like funny coming from someone who's going to school for philosophy.
Right.
But
which is you.
Which is me. Yeah. But I do think that arguing philosophy is fun, but I think that it becomes enraging. But I also think that it's like I'm really interested in morality. And like, so in morality, you can like move that over into law subjects, like what's right and what's wrong. And that, I think that type of stuff is, I like to argue that.
Yeah, I mean,
I like to argue.
Right. So with morality,
that might not be something that anyone knows about me.
That you like to argue.
I love to argue.
That's true.
But I love to debate.
Yeah.
I don't like to argue at all. I like to I like a sported, fun debate.
Yeah, I kind of can get down with that too.
Yeah, you like it for sure.
I like to get in there and see what I can do.
You do.
But yeah, because with morality, it's like for me the debate is it inherent or is it something that is like kind of handed down?
Yeah,
that's
like is it? It's nature.
Like, is it always
nature or nurture?
Yeah, is it always scientifically advantageous to do the moral thing, right? That's kind of the people who don't believe in God or anything like that. That's what they'll say, right? It's
right.
Morality is a self-preservation tactic, or it arises out of the self-preservation. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'll prepare my argument for next week.
For the next debate.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
Well, so 2020 is over.
That
and
it is.
I think a lot of people like looked back at I saw a lot of people making their post about 2020, on the internet, because that's like the club now, the internet. We can't go to the club, so we just get on the internet and we like read what everyone's saying.
Yeah. You have any more beer in there?
No, let's go grab some beers. Or I'll go grab
All
some
right.
beers.
Well,
I really
what am I? I'm just gonna keep them happy here for a minute. All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break while Chaney grabs beer. Chaney, will you just grab me a Mind Haze? That's right, dude. So actually, something I wanted to mention is you're seeing me with this fresh Entheos tea. Look at that thing. Speaking of psychology, this is a pretty psycho tea right here. Oh yeah, philosophy.
Holy shit.
Boo! I'm fired from my own show. All right. Well, speaking of psychology.
Nice. That was suave. I shouldn't have called you out. I shouldn't have called you out.
We were talking about psychology, right?
Yeah.
No,
philosophy.
Philosophy. Okay.
The other P.
Well, I'm fired, but we've got these super sick T-shirts and sweatshirts,
hoodies. We have new hats too. New sweats.
Is your boy wearing Entheos sweat?
We got that. Remember, you are dust swag adocious.
Look at that shit.
Swag delish.
So yeah, these are some.
Do you know how many terminologies we use that are of Bill Oberender?
Yeah, Bill
Swag
Oberender's.
delish. Okay. Navene was just showing the merch, so you guys, we're gonna put the link at the top of our description. We were on tour.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's wrap. Let's do like a little kind of be pro here. So we got shirts, sweatsuits that are super. I've been wearing nothing but Entheos sweat suit this whole week. Like the hoodies are super.
Except when you throw on your Veil of Noth shirt.
Yeah, I've been wearing the Veil of Noth shirt too as well because we got a Veil of Noth care package.
Care pack. Thanks, Vance.
Also, we got the super sick KoperCrabb mugs.
Yeah, we're about to get new beer gentilizers as well.
We're going to get some beer gentilizers.
So we're going to throw them up. We're honestly working on the sickest fucking merch spread for KoperCrabb Podcast. And I think
she's announcing it early, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, y'all need to be excited. I'm not going to say what it is, but you guys are going to want to wear these shirts.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
and we're going to be dropping those soon.
The gear.
Probably episode 50.
Yeah, we're thinking episode 50 to do something kind of fun.
Yeah, we're trying to have an extravaganza.
We should probably plan something. That's something that we don't often do.
Now you're giving it away that we don't have it planned. Fuck.
Well, maybe we could plan
all of our secrets. We're really bad at holding in secrets. So it's a miracle that you guys don't know everything about the album right now.
They know kind of a lot.
The Entheos album. We've probably said it all in past podcasts.
Probably.
Damn.
And I don't remember what I say on podcasts. Not because I'm drunk or anything. I just don't.
It's because there's this weird thing that happens when you do a podcast where it's like, because it's so much talking at once, it's hard to remember what you say. Therefore, there are parts of our podcast that I only remember when I'm like, if I'm looking for a clip or if someone says something in a comment, like it's really hard to remember a lot of the stuff that you say on a podcast. And sometimes that's worrisome because sometimes you're like, oh God, did I say something like really dumb? But at the end of the day, it's something funny that I've learned about just talking to people through doing a podcast. Because sometimes you'll have like a conversation, if you're like I am, sometimes you'll have a conversation with someone and the next morning you're like, oh my God, did I say anything stupid in that conversation? But when you go back and listen to yourself talking on a podcast, you rarely say anything in like as dumb as a fashion as what you thought it was in.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm always pleasantly surprised.
I don't know. I don't really listen to full episodes.
Yeah, but I'm
worried. I'm like, oh no, I'm about to say something real dumb, so I just won't listen, and then that's.
You know what though? When you're worried about something, it's almost like it almost helps more to face it.
Yeah, that's true. Someone actually said in a comment something funny that I said on the episode with Blake. That I said we were talking about like getting like, kind of eating too much and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I got a sweet tooth. And I was like, yeah, I don't really have a sweet tooth, but I've got a pizza tooth, I guess. So We were thinking that's kind of funny. Pizza tooth? I don't know. Maybe that could be a shirt.
What do you guys think? Funny? On a scale of funny, how funny is it?
Well, I would say that for me, my when you're talking about like full indulgence, like going off, no restrictions, that's pizza. That's what I call pizza.
Pizza tooth. Dude, pizza is the shit.
Actually, I got
At
the
the end of the
super
day,
sick
though,
pizza sticker on my computer that I'm sure everybody's noticed
yeah,
before. Look at that.
That's so sick.
It's like a death logo, but it says pizza. That's fucking
Thanks for
coolest
laying it
fucking
all
thing
out
ever.
for us.
And
It's also sizzle pie. So
yeah.
that's probably what they wanted when they made a sticker like that, is for you to say their name.
That's true. But they don't pay me, so fuck them.
Fuck all y'all.
Actually,
do they
not
give us
fuck
a free
them. They're
slice,
sick,
though?
yeah.
I think they might give us like a free slice when we play across the street.
I paid full price for a slice up in there.
Did you waive your tour limit? They just
I
can't
don't know.
recognize you.
Actually, we played like right above there.
Oh,
Yeah,
then I have no idea where Sizzle Pie is.
We played
then.
literally above there.
What's Sizzle Pie? It's in Portland, right?
Yeah, we played.
Is Sizzle
with
Pie like
Winds of
the
Plague.
corner spot?
No, think about it. Look, Winds of Plague.
Yeah.
We played in this upstairs spot. In
Yeah.
Portland, it's like a different place every single time for some reason.
Totally.
But there's like a billion venues there, but we
Yeah.
played right above Sizzle Pie, I think.
Huh.
Or yeah, I think it was.
Could have been.
And I was like, that.
I was thinking that, sorry to interrupt you, but I was thinking Sizzle Pie was the place. Do you remember when we played that place with Rivers? Dante's, I think it was called. Across the street, there was like a pizza spot, and you could only get pizza from the window.
You mean the place in Denver? The place that was.
No, I'm talking about
because that place
Portland.
was a pizza place.
No, you're talking about Marquee Theater.
Yeah.
I'm
Place
talking
is
about literally in Portland.
Okay, we played there with. Who?
It's Dante's. No, Dante's. We might
I know
have played
exactly.
with
Wait, I think I
Dillinger.
know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about, there's a place we played with Rivers. Right next door is Voodoo. And then across the street is freaking the pizza spot. And that night we smoked the best weed because Portland has the most bombest weed. Shout out to Portland, because Denver and LA or California and Colorado always get like the most credit for having the best weed in this country. It's in Oregon. Okay.
The best.
It's in Oregon.
Wow.
Catch me in Oregon. If you say, Chaney, where are you going to live to smoke the best weed,
Oregon.
to smoke out your life? It's in Oregon.
Well, we talked about maybe landing over in Eugene, dude.
I would love to move to Eugene.
I like me some Eugene.
Yeah.
When we did our trip, like a long time ago at this point.
We still talk
We're
about.
still talking.
God.
We went up to Portland for a
I
week.
listened to this podcast. It's called KoperCrabb Podcast. The people on it are kind of pathetic. They talk about the one trip they went on ever.
We're trying to do more trips just so we have something cool to talk about.
It's like, well, dude, we need a trip so we have something to talk about.
True that.
That's the thing about being off tour for so long, is that I don't think we've gone this long without really traveling. Because we will talk shit and say that touring isn't really traveling, but there are glimpses of traveling on tour. You know, there are places where you like just stay.
Yeah, and
you're like,
you're
okay,
just doing all kinds of weird stuff every day. So
yeah, for sure.
I feel like I'm so different since the last time I went on tour. You know what I mean?
Totally. We started this podcast after our last tour.
That's right.
Which is really scary to think about.
I know. It's also scary to think about that the podcast is like a year old.
Yeah, we're almost at 50 episodes.
It should be 60 technically.
Granted, we quit we didn't quit. We took a hiatus for a little while.
Took a hiatus, yeah.
You know, let's just forget about that.
Well, I needed some time. I needed some space. I was kind of doing my own thing.
Too.
I was like kind of seeking out a little bit, like a higher thing, for a little while. Kind of did a little.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of like introspection and reflection from us.
Yeah.
During
like
that time.
I honestly was taking a break from everything. I wasn't really playing much music or.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really have much to talk about. You know what I mean?
Well, I just kind of felt like coronavirus or the whole pandemic thing, not going on tour, everyone turning to the internet. That was a little overwhelming for me at first, when it was new.
I agree.
Now I think we're living kind of in a changed world in a way. like where we're a little more used to it.
Yeah. And I also think you and I were kind of like, all right, well, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Let's go do it.
Right.
And not really worry about it.
Which actually is like a theme, because with the band, I think that both of us, like on a certain level, both feel like we're starting out new.
Yeah, I agree.
And that we needed the time.
I did.
And with the podcast, I think that it was the same thing. And really over the summer of not working on the podcast or the band really helped us both like find out or come to understand what we wanted out of these things and how we wanted them to go, what we wanted to do with them, and like what was the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like this rejuvenated energy for us in both the podcast and the band, where before I think that there was like some kind of negative energy surrounding both things.
Yeah. Some sort of like kind of doubt. You know
and I think that shit gets to you, man.
Yeah.
When you're feeling a sort of doubt against things you're doing, it's like one feeling of doubt just multiplies.
Yeah.
And it becomes all these feelings of doubt until eventually you're so overwhelmed that you need to quit for a while and like realign with yourself and with your understanding of what you want to achieve in this life.
I agree. And I think a way to eliminate that doubt is to know for sure that you're putting out the best that you have to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like for me personally, I've always been I've done a lot of work in music, obviously. I've done a lot with my life, and I just feel like for the last few years, there was always a part of me that was kind of like in reserve. You know what I mean? I'm not really putting everything out there.
It's almost like you've always been reluctant to do that.
Yeah, and for one reason or another, I honestly can't say why, but now I'm wondering, what does it look like if I'm all the way in,
Yeah.
Like totally doing my thing. If I'm taking a picture, I'm taking the best picture I can possibly take. If I'm making a video, I'm making the best video I can possibly make. If I'm making a riff, it's the sickest fucking riff I can possibly make. If I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna like, play as fast as I can, or like that's an example, but you know what I mean? Like go all the way.
Yeah, go all in.
Then when you do that, you're like, well, you know what? I'm doing the totally most thing I can do. I'm giving it 100%. I got nothing more to give.
I think that for me is one of the most important things. Now that I'm in my 30s, I do think more about the fact that I'm going to die someday, that this is not forever. And I think about like, what is it that I think that on my deathbed I would be looking back and regretting.
That's true.
And really the one thing that I would regret, well, there are two things I would regret. 3, not living.
4,
not living in the moment in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, not living in the moment. 3, fuck. Okay. Now I'm giving myself too many. I wouldn't have too many regrets. So not living in the moment.
Yep.
Not doing the things that I wanted to do.
There you go.
Being a vocalist is one, being a writer is another. And not giving everything my all. I don't want to look back on this whole thing and think, oh man, I had a band. I was a vocalist in a sick band. There were all of this cool shit. And I just didn't really... It was all there, but I just didn't give it my all. I wasn't totally into it. Or, oh man, I did this... I was really into wood burning in my 30s, and I could have, my stuff was really cool, but I just didn't give it my all.
Yeah.
Or I always loved writing ever since I was a little girl. But when it really came down to it, I just didn't go there.
And I think
I do not want to look back and say those things.
Exactly. And I think that's honestly where my frustration would come from. And I didn't really know it though,
Yeah.
It just would just bug me.
Totally.
And then I realized it's like, I know why I'm bothered. It's because I'm not doing all that I can. Because now I can say, I can go to bed tonight and I can look back on the last week and say dude, I did all I could.
Yeah.
So if that's not good enough, then I don't know. I got nothing else to offer.
Yeah.
And I think that honestly, when you think about it honestly, that's what makes the difference.
Dude,
because
totally.
you can feel like, for me, I think that's the frustrating part. It's just knowing, like, it's kind of weird because it's like it's unspoken. It's there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I could probably do better, but I'm just like not doing it.
Dude,
and that's frustrating with yourself.
Totally. I'm going to be completely honest. There was a time last year we had just quit the podcast, and with the band, I think we were a little like, it was a little up in the air. Travis had just left the band. Everything was a little up in the air, and I was like crying hysterically. Like, what? It wasn't even, it was just because I was really sad. I was really like confused about what I actually wanted out of life, like where I should go, what my path was. And I think that was just a real turning point in my life, because I realized from that from that day forward, like the only thing that made me feel better was working on the things that I love, working on music. I started working on a new project, working on wood, writing, just like being productive. And I learned about myself in 2020 that the only thing that made me happy and that made me feel not happy, because I think that it only contributes to my happiness, and that I was letting my mind drive myself into like a fucked up place, dark place. But really, like, something that I need to just up my mood in this life is to create.
Yeah.
The only time I feel like super good is when I'm just totally consumed by the things that I love and working on the things that I love. When I'm like working on a song, writing, working on wood, working on art, doing something creative, productive, that really is what is my fuel.
Yeah.
And 2020, I think it was like fucked up in a lot of ways on a political, social basis. But what it was really good for is being able to be introspective.
Yeah.
And to really come to terms with who we are as people. And for me, that's what I did last year. Like, I feel like I understand myself now more than ever. I started microdosing toward the end of the year, which I do think helped.
Advil? Microdosing Advil?
Microdosing Advil.
Kind of
Microdosing psilocybin, mushrooms. It's legal in Santa Cruz. So
disclaimer.
I started doing that. I was doing it once a week for a while, and then I found myself being able to do it, or I was doing it like every day for maybe a 3-week period.
Yeah,
and
but
then
you're not supposed to be philosophical. You're supposed to just take it till you. If you because Sean was saying, if you you're feeling philosophical, you've taken too much.
Exactly, and I never felt philosophical, but I'm saying that it was a mood improvement. So it helped me like turn things upside down, but also get my mind right.
Yeah.
Because I was taking it every day for about 3 weeks, and then I started taking it every other day for a couple of weeks, and then it became once a week, and then now I do it maybe once every 3 weeks. I'll microdose, and I found that I was able to sustain like a little more. But these are the things that I learned about myself last year. I learned how to like flip my mood around on that basis, and just understanding like what made me happy.
Yeah.
Which was, if I'm not creating, then I think it's easier for me to fall into a dark place.
Yep.
It's easier for me to control my mind if I'm feeling productive and if I'm doing things that are pick-me-ups. And for me, it's creating.
Yeah. And I think like that's really, it comes down to just doing work that you like doing, right? We're calling it creating, but really what it is you're absorbed in some type of work.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about. And
Same.
I'm trying to actually spread that message. If you could, to be corny for a second. It's like, it's not about like everything I do because I want to continue to do the type of work that I like doing.
Yeah.
And that's literally it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about being famous or making a lot of money or whatever, but I want to have enough so that I can do the work that I like doing every day. That's it.
Yeah, that's really it.
And that way I feel complete. I don't feel like something is missing.
Yeah.
I mean, like this week, all I did was work on music pretty much all week. I feel amazing, right?
Yeah.
Each day when I went to bed, I can't wait to wake up so I can go back to it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all I want to do. I'm not conflicted. I'm not thinking about this, that, and the other thing. I'm just focused in on what I love doing.
Yeah. Which makes me think that, overall, I wonder if a lot of people would be more happy or happier if instead of forcing ourselves into like having to work at jobs for money because we have all of these material possessions and things we need to support, a car payment, a house payment. I don't know, when you weigh that out against like actual happiness, which I do think that there is a part of humans that like to work. I like to work. You have
to work.
I like working. I enjoy it.
Well, it's like what we were saying about the cat today, right?
Yeah.
We were saying, cats love routine.
They love it.
But humans are the same way. They like having their routine, and that's what's a routine. It's what the work is that you do day to day. And
yeah, but I'm saying just on like an employment basis. I like being employed like a small percentage of the time. I don't like it taking up all my time. I don't like feeling like I have to, like that's the only thing that's going to work for me.
Yeah, it's the
because
worst
I
feeling.
think that there are a lot of people who stop themselves with that thought. It's not that they couldn't do something. It's that they're reluctant to do something. And there's that hint of anxiety that's preventing them from doing something.
But I feel that so hard.
So do I.
Because it's like on one hand, I do have a totally chill, like good thing going with, my blind and shade installation thing. Mm-hmm. But if I let that go too far, I become angry.
Totally.
Because I'm not doing that thing that I love to do.
Me too.
Right? I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to keep your, the way that you're generating money, if it's not through music and art, I think it's important to keep it at like the level of, let me just do it so it can cover, have it be something that supports you is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rather than let it take over and now, I don't have time to do that thing that I love.
Yeah.
Just use it to your advantage. Say, okay, I'm going to do it just as much as I need to so that I can do this other thing that I like doing.
Right.
And I don't have to live as a starving artist or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something I've learned that's really important to do.
And it's hard to do that. Like I get it. Because
it is really hard.
As you work and as you get older, like
well, there are people who have kids. We don't have kids. We're coming from a fairly unique place. Everyone I went to high school with has kids at this point. True. I'm 32. You're 35. We don't have kids. So I understand that we're coming from like a really, a different perspective than a lot of people. And that for a lot of people, they have to factor in like, well, I have a child to take care of on top of, paying for myself, my significant other, and those things. So we're coming from a unique perspective, but even with a kid, I think that it's definitely possible. I have friends who they do all of the things we're talking about and they still make time for creativity. They've learned to, it's something that you do as an artist. You have to do. We're like forced into it. You, over your life, find ways to fit it in.
Yep.
And those can be like the make or break thing in life.
And it doesn't take a whole lot, I mean, if you could spend even an hour a day or a half hour a day, like I'm saying, goes back to what I was saying before. If you're doing all that you can, then it's good. If you feel like there's something that you're holding back on, or you're prioritizing watching Netflix over making some videos or riffs or whatever, that's when I think the frustration sets in.
Yeah. Something that I think can be really inspiring is like last week when we were talking to Blake, it's like you hear people who BT Bam to me is a huge band. To everyone listening, they're a huge band. They do stuff for money out. They have work outside of BT Bam. It's like, and I think it's cool and inspiring to hear about that stuff, because I know that when I was a kid, when I was looking at my favorite bands, even if when I saw them, they were playing in front of 15 people, I did not think they had jobs outside of being in a band. So it can be inspiring hearing about that, because I know that, you know, there can be this like all or nothing thing you get into.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I have a job. I can't do that. These people don't have jobs. So they like, but everyone's just out here trying to make ends meet. It's kind of how you direct your time.
Exactly. And what you do with it. And that's why I was saying like all not at work time at my, day job or whatever. When I'm not there, it's going straight into music, period. That's it.
Yeah.
Like all available time. I guess
it's been fruitful.
It's been good, man.
Yeah.
Last few weeks, and I've been doing a lot, like upgrading all the stuff I put on my Instagram, all the shit that I'm putting out there. It's like I want it to be the best that I can do.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
And it's in every facet, and it's so fun. I feel like rejuvenated, like a kid almost again. Just excited.
Absolutely. So cheers to all of you guys in the new year.
Totally.
We're probably going to cut this episode pretty short, but before we go, I wanted to talk about not all of my favorite albums, because honestly, last year was such a weird year. I don't feel like I listened to everything that came out last year. I don't really want to make like a proper top 10 or anything, but I wanted to talk about a couple of records that mean a lot to me. And Navene wants to talk about a few records that mean a lot to him.
That came out in 2020.
That came out in 2020.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to go down my list really quick.
At the end of the year, it's always weird for me because I'm like, all right, well, I got to go back and see what I was listening to and see when it came out.
Yeah.
Because I don't always know what year it came out.
I know.
Right? So a lot of the shit I was listening to last year, it didn't come out in 2020.
My the top thing, and I wrote it on this list that I listened to last year more than anything on vinyl and on Spotify, was Marissa Nadler, For My Crimes. And that came out in 2019. Joni Mitchell was a close second.
When did that come out? 2020?
Yeah. But other than that, I want to shout out the Black Crown Initiate record, Violent Portraits of Doomed Escape. That's a sick record for prog metal people.
We got a little clip here.
There's a clip. Everyone knows that I'm a sucker for Emma Ruth Rundle. So the Thou and Emma Ruth Rundle, May Our Chambers Be Full is one of my favorites, which I just got on vinyl and haven't had a chance to listen to yet. It only took a month for the company to send me the record.
Damn, shout out to I'm just kidding.
Miss Piss, Self-Surgery, that's Chelsea Wolfe's side project with her live drummer, Jess Gowrie. Greg Puciato, Child Soldier, Creator of God.
Nice.
Sick record.
Homie from
vocalist
Dillinger.
of Dillinger Escape Plan.
Is it ex Dillinger? No.
I don't know. Never say never. Cytotoxin, Nuclearth. That's a sick. It reminded me.
Super sick.
It reminded me a lot of like old Beneath the Massacre.
Yeah.
In parts.
Like that band, super sick death metal, like really fast. Really fast. Super brutal and
tech
good
death.
It's just like what you want to hear.
It's just like good old tech death. I put it on when the couple times I worked out.
Yeah, I think the vocals are reminding you of Beneath the Massacre.
Yeah, it's the vocals for sure that are Beneath the Massacre to me.
But really, really good.
Then of course,
that's
the band that are goats that I'm always gonna love everything they put out. Mark my words, Black Dahlia Murder, Verminous. I just watched their holiday show. So good. Those guys are just so funny.
Yeah, great guys.
They just like, it's just like they thought of all the details that were good and they put it in their. It's the live on computer thing. I don't know how I feel about it. I think that some of it is cool. Some of it is like played. Some of it's way overproduced. And I'm like, why the fuck? But Black Dahlia did it right. It was like watching an old holiday special on like ABC or something. It was a night with the Black Dahlia. And then on top of that, Otme Mephitic. Just sick ass metal.
Super solid.
If you're into it's DM. If you're into like, I would say like Suffocation, if you're into Surreption, Otme is super groovy.
Yeah.
That's what's so good about them is the groove and the song structure.
They kind of have like the heart and spirit of old school death metal.
Decapitated.
Yeah, but they're more modern sounding.
That's exactly. And our boy Zach Oren engineered that record. So
and I recorded their first two albums. So
yeah, Navene kind of recorded their first two albums.
Yeah. Well, they were called something else at the time, but
the Roman Holiday, and then you did the first Otme.
Yeah, But that band rules.
That's not the only reason we like them, though. They're
Love
just like
guys.
super sick.
Great
and
guys.
we saw them live on the
Oh
tour.
my
We
God, they
opened for
killed it, dude.
Wizards of
Wizards of Nile.
Wizards of Waverly Place. No, Rivers of Nile. Kansas City. Aunt May came on and made us all look silly.
Yeah, they really killed it.
They made us all look silly. They're just one of those bands, though, dude. I just want to have a fucking beer.
Yeah.
And just bang my head and watch Aunt May.
Because they all live in the same town.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can tell they
jam.
like we have band practice twice a week.
Yeah,
they're just so tight, dude.
If any of y'all are still out there rocking band practice twice a week, then shout out to
yeah,
you.
shout out for that.
That has
For
been
real.
something that Navene and I have dreamed of, is having our band in the same place. And even in looking for live players, we're like, you live in California, bro, you might be
It'd be sick.
wink, wink.
To
You might be
relocate.
prioritized.
Relocate. We could have motherfuckers live here. We got a 3-bedroom house.
We might move somebody here. Watch out. We might move someone from England here.
Oh.
Watch out.
Shit. All right.
But anyway, those were the records that when I sat down this morning and thought of records that I liked this year, those were the quick top ones that came to mind.
Yeah. I honestly, I was going through
Sorry. I want to shout out Smashing Pumpkins' Seer as well.
Sumerian, right?
On Sumerian.
Yeah, on
Whoever could have thought?
Worlds colliding,
That
man.
blew my fucking mind. I was like, how many steps removed am I from Billy Corgan now?
Like one step.
One step.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like on multiple... I'm like several one steps from Billy Corgan.
I know. It just blew my mind when I was like,
blew my mind.
Sumerian? Like what?
What?
That is crazy.
All right.
But yeah, I went through my Spotify, and like I said, I'm a weirdo, basically. But I was seeing, okay, which of these albums that I've listened to are in 2020. I found 3 of them.
What?
I found 3.
Okay, cool.
So Jacob Collier,
Yeah, that
which is
motherfucker
Jesse
with a good voice.
3, but I honestly just like this one single, All I Need, right? I did a drum cover to it, little promotion there for myself. And then you got Wormhole, the weakest among us.
Shout out to Noni and Sanjay, because you motherfuckers.
Yeah, Wormhole,
killed it.
super sick.
We were supposed to go on tour with them this year.
I know, that would have been rad.
Rest in peace to tours.
That's right. That was actually, I listened to that a bunch. That's a really sick album. And then one of my favorite drum and bass producers, Billin, put out a little short EP, Code Name EP. That's what it's called. So if you want to check out some super sick drum and bass, definitely check out
We'll
that
probably
guy.
go and make a playlist like we did last year, because
That would be smart.
we're going to be in the studio all week this week, which means Navene is recording drums and I'm on like probably video and photo editing and laptop duties.
And Ask Me Anything.
Aside from I'll probably do an Ask Me Anything. You know, it's getting weird in the studio. I fucking love those Instagram Ask Me Anythings. I don't know why, but I like to be asked questions.
Maybe post a picture of like the studio and be like, "Hey, I'm in the studio."
Hey y'all. I'm in the studio.
Or you should take over my Instagram.
Oh, yeah. A takeover.
Hey, look, you post a picture.
Hey guys, Chaney here, taking over
Navene's
Navene's Instagram.
Collaboration.
Oh, it's a collab.
What do you think?
That might be cool.
I think we should do it.
Hey everyone, Chaney here. Navene's Instagram.
Navene's over here playing drums.
And surprise, I'm playing drums on the album too.
No.
Instead of Navene.
No. But I posted today some really sweet pics of the drum setup that I'll be using.
This is my favorite
And,
podcast guy thing you do.
I reference
You do No, it's not even a podcast guy thing. I think it's your impersonation of Donald Trump mixing together with your actual personality.
I know. I did too much impersonation.
Drum solo.
And he does this
it's
hand
gonna
thing.
be a drum solo.
Yeah. Well, that's not good.
I
mean,
can't do
everyone's
impersonations, you guys. I set myself up to fail because I say that every time I do one, and I'm like, I suck at these, and then I'm like, I suck.
The hand gestures.
It's gonna be a drum solo. You do like the most Trumpy. Yeah, you're like,
don't do that. It's gonna be bad. Everyone's gonna hate me.
It's just because you do a good impersonation of him. Which do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
Do it.
No, it's low hanging fruit.
Do the Joe impersonation. Do it.
I'm not gonna do it. Maybe one day I'll do it.
Do it.
I won't do it
do
on
it.
command. No.
You did it last time. Oh, that's a bit.
All right, you guys.
All right, you guys.
We'll
have a good week. It was good hanging with y'all.
Thanks for chiming in, dude.
Love you.